businesses fail, and of the remaining 10%, only 1 out of 10 businesses last past the first 5 years. So what makes some businesses fail while others prosper? There may be several reasons, including, but not limited to, poor customer service, poor logistics and cost management, and inadequate product. But the major reason is the lack of a business plan. Business plans help define goals and achieve them. If you take out time to set concrete but achievable goals and chart a plan to success, it can help you realize your dream and make your business flourish. I have compiled an all-inclusive list of areas that need to be considered while writing a business plan. These will help you in defining your goals and the path your business needs to take to achieve them. Step 1. Define your vision. When you start a business, you have a clear goal in mind. You know exactly what you wish to achieve with your business. However, after some time, the clarity of your vision will become blurred, and you'll forget some of your brilliant ideas. Writing down your vision for the company will help you to define it, and moreover, it will help your staff identify with the mission. All daily activities of the business can then be aligned with your vision for the business. This should be the first step of writing a business plan. Step 2. Set your goals and objectives for the business. Never assume that your goals need to be small to accommodate your limitations. Think big. Clearly define your short-term goals, the ones that you wish to achieve within 12 months, mid-term goals, those that will take between 2 to 3 years, and long-term goals. Consider all aspects such as the revenue you wish to generate, number of outlets you want, the number of customers you need in your database, the target population, and age groups, as well as the amount of passive income that needs to be generated in future. Step 3. Define your unique selling proposition. What is it about you that is different from the crowd? Your unique selling point, or USP, will make you more attractive to potential customers. How is your product or service different from others in the market? It could be anything from additional services to personalized customer service. You could even offer them better after-sales warranty and support. While writing a business plan, you just need to highlight the extras that your customers are getting from you to make your business stand out. Step 4. Know your market. It often happens that you have a brilliant idea, but someone else has already started a business with a similar plan. This is a very common occurrence, but you should not let this stop you. How many petrol stations are there? Several businesses can provide the same service and still survive, as the marketplace is huge and it can sustain multiple businesses. But for this, you should know your market like the back of your hand. Research and find out how many competitors you have, what services they offer, what are the current and future trends of the industry. Know the larger picture. Are there certain benchmarks that can be used to gauge your business performance, such as gross turnover, profit margins, etc.? Once you know the inner workings of the market, you can manipulate them in your favor. This is an important part of learning how to write a business plan. Step 5. Know your customer. This goes without saying. Customers are the most important part of any business, and you should know the customers your business caters to. Today, customers are spoiled for choice, and they have thousands of options for every product. So, if you want them to buy your product, you should know what your ideal customer wants. This is the reason why you need to define your target populations and research their habits while writing a business plan. Understanding the motivation behind customers' actions can make your business successful. You can focus on the areas that grab your customers' interest and stop wasting energy on the rest. Put yourself in their shoes and then think what would make them choose you each time. Write down the ideas and implement them. Step 6. Research the demand for your business. You must have studied the demand and supply curve. Even if you haven't, it stands to logic that there should be ample demand for your product. Find out the demand before investing in a new business. The basic rule is demand should be more than supply. If this holds true for your market, your business will thrive. But if the demand is less than the supply, your business will eventually die out. So do your homework and gather as much information as you can. You can do a secondary search right from your home over the internet or your public library. You can even visit government offices for this information. But by far, the best option is primary research, where you directly interact with your target audience to know their preferences and how ready they are to buy your product. So hit the road and note down all the interesting ideas you get to increase the demand. Be smart and invest your life savings only after ascertaining that there is a demand for your product. Step 7, set your marketing goals. So you have finished the research and defined your business vision. The next step in writing a business plan is setting up marketing goals. These are those goals that define how your product would look like, what it will cost, how you'll distribute it, and the ways in which you can promote it. Most businesses do plan this, but they neglect the most important areas. You should set up measurable marketing goals that will help achieve your primary business objectives. Questions like the number of products you'll sell, what will be your product development strategy, your price margins, delivery methods, and promotion plan should be duly considered. When you ask yourself these questions, they will help define the goals for marketing your business. Step 8, define your marketing strategy. Now that you have your marketing goals, you need a plan to achieve them. How many products you need to produce and sell, and at what profit margin so as to get your desired revenue. What will be your system of delivery and your coverage area? What will be the strategies to promote your business? The media that you will use. Be very specific, as these will translate to action and your ultimate success or failure. Plan for every eventuality while writing a business plan. This is a very vital step of writing a business plan, so acquaint yourself with it so that you can easily navigate through each point. Step 9, take action. And of course, without action, all else is a waste. This is the most important part of writing a business plan. You can plan all you want, but unless you do the actual work and bring customers to your storefront, you won't earn anything. Even if you find that according to the business plan, your idea isn't viable, don't give up. There are thousands of other ideas out there, and you can ultimately find one that suits you. If you wish to be wealthy, healthy, and happy, there is a business waiting for you to grab it. Your business plan will provide the direction and focus, but you will need to take the first step. Writing a business plan isn't difficult if you know what you should focus on. You now have an idea of what is important and how you should tackle the task of writing a business plan. And you are now better equipped to start a successful business. Start your research today. Jot down all those brilliant ideas, set your goals, define a path, and don't let anyone stop you. Now you know how to write a business plan, and the mantra for success is in your hands. Make the best of it.
My objective with these classes is to help you develop that plan and to stay focused, because many of the businesses that we try to help, sometimes we notice that they kind of lose that focus, kind of lose that fire that they start with. So one of the things that you have to do is develop that business plan, and it starts with your executive summary. The executive summary is a 2-3 sentence process that defines your business. So when you begin to develop this, you start with your executive summary, company description, products and services, your marketing plan, operational plan, management and organization, your startup expenses and capitalization, your financial plan. If you start to develop this and think about it and start writing down your ideas, this is going to develop an effective business plan for your business, where you can be very successful with the Gale online process. Is that it gives you key questions that are going to help you fill in the blanks. So it's a tool, but you still have to think about your business, your market. How can you be successful? Who is your target market? That you have to do that homework. No one can do that homework for you. So I'm going to share with you another screen, the screen with Gale. And here on the Gale's dashboard, you start with the founder profile, the ideation, break-even analysis, bylaws, financial projections. The part we left off was in the ideation last week. And this is where you start developing your mission, who you are, where everybody's going to buy into what you're doing. Who are the key partners in your business? Who are you going to bring on board? Who are the experts? What are you called to do? What makes you different? What's going to make you successful? What's going to cause people to want to come and do business with you? What is your competition? Who's out there that provides a similar service? Who's different? What will give you the competitive advantage? Value proposition. What are you offering? What is it that makes you different? What is it that makes you valuable? What are your key activities? What are the things that you're going to focus on that you know will generate the greatest revenue and provide your clients the best service possible? Who's your audience? Who's your market? What are your key resources? What is your outreach? This is very important and is all found in the ideation tab of the Gale business plan. Break-even analysis. Here, you start to now define your expenses. It's very important that you know what's your payroll, what's your rent, communications, telephone, cell phones, advertisement, your marketing strategy, especially right now that everyone is online. There's going to be a cost for digital marketing. Your inventory, how much will you need to stay viable, to stay successful, to supply demand? Remember this, if there's a demand and you have the supply, then you're going to profit. But if there's a demand and you don't have enough supply, then that's always going to put you on the shortfall. So it is imperative that you analyze how much demand can be generated and can I make up the supply to make sure I meet the demand. Professional cost. Remember, to start your business, you're going to need a good lawyer. You're going to need an accountant, maybe not on staff, but these are people that you bring on board on a pay-per basis. So you need the accountant, you need the lawyer, you need a bookkeeper. Most business owners think, well, I'm going to run the business and I can also manage the books. One of the things that I've seen in business is that it's very difficult to do both. Do you have a viable bookkeeper, somebody that can keep the finances in order? Most businesses within the first 5 years end up out of business. And the reason for that is because they've not taken into account the amount of work and responsibility, 2 areas, legal and finances. Those 2 areas can cripple your business if you don't have the right person on your team. You need proper bookkeeping because your CPA is not going to help you. He's not going to have the capability of helping you if you have not kept good bookkeeping. You cannot go to your accountant at the end of the year, what they call a shoebox full of receipts, and tell him, sort out my expenses. He doesn't know what those expenses went to. So I would tell you the first person you need on staff is a good bookkeeper and a good accounting system. I recommend QuickBooks. QuickBooks is a software that is user-friendly. You can give access to your accountant for your accountant to take care of your quarterlies and for your accountant to take care of your finances for you. So QuickBooks is good. Your insurance. I tell most businesses, when you start a business, you need 2 types of insurances from the get-go. Number 1, liability insurance. Number 2, workman's compensation. These 2 insurances become essential for your business. Liability because someone may sue you or someone may get hurt on your property. Workman's compensation because if anybody works for you, including a 1099, and God forbid they get hurt, they will be entitled to workman's compensation. What's your loan repayment plan? When you start a business, usually we'll borrow money from family, from friends, even our savings account. What is your plan to repay that money? So that is very important, and Gale helps you develop that portion of your finances because that's going to be key for you to know what is my break-even analysis. Let's say that it takes $10,000 a month just to pay the rent, the bills, a basic salary, your helpers, $10,000 a month. Then you have to divide that 10,000 by the number of products you're going to sell. And that number might be, I have to sell at $100. I have to sell at $40. I have to charge $40 an hour. I've got to charge $50 an hour. You need to know the basic number that it takes just to survive the business. Not thinking about profit, not thinking about capital expenditures, not thinking about anything other than just the business surviving. That number becomes essential and critical in your business. As an accountant, what I've noticed with a lot of businesses that they don't know their break-even analysis. So they go to a job and they let people talk them down. And they say, well, that job is going to cost you $3,000. And the customer comes back and says, well, I offer $2,500. And then you turn around and say, $2,500 it is. Well, what is your break-even cost? If my break-even is $2,000, I could live with $2,500. But if my break-even cost is $2,600, and I just accepted the $2,500 offer, I just lost $100 for my business. It is imperative that you always know, no matter what contract you put together, always figure out your break-even number. That number becomes critical. That number becomes essential because as much as you want to help clients, you can never go below that number. So from the dashboard, all these questions are filled. And what happens is that you're able to take each slot and fill it in. So as you can see, Gale already gives you the line item numbers, what's important. It lets you calculate for year 2019, for year 2020, how much do I want to grow? Because remember this, a lot of people plan on growth. I'm going to grow my business. But let me tell you what's also going to grow is your expenses. So your expenses become super important when you're analyzing your growth. If I'm going to grow by 2 or 3% in business, well, how much are my expenses going to grow by? How much staff do I need to bring in? And what is the tax cost? Remember this, it's not just your employees, but each employee, you have to match their Social Security and Medicare. So then you have to ask yourself, if I pay them $20,000 a year, $30,000, $50,000, whatever that number is, you have to figure your portion as the employer of Social Security and Medicare, unemployment, disability. So it's important that you sit down with an accountant and figure out what is actual payroll going to cost you. On the founder's profile, I went back there again because if you look at Gale, Gale is going to ask you these simple questions. Why do I want to start a nonprofit or a for-profit business? In other words, the more you know about your business, the more you know about why you're putting this business, the more you know why you're formulating this business, the more successful you're going to be. But if you don't know the why, but you know the how, then you're going to be in trouble because you're always going to be working because you know how, but you don't know the why. When you know the why, you're always going to be the leader of that organization. You have to know the why and the how. What do I need? What do I know how to do? What do I love to do? What personal and professional relationships do I have that can support my nonprofit? Remember, in the world that we live in today, it's all about networking. Before you go into business, who do you know that can become an asset to your business, that can become a part of what you're doing, that can become part of fulfilling your calling, your vision, your mission, your purpose? So it's important that you bring those groups together. If you're logging on, I ask you to please mute yourself so it doesn't come out through the line. What kind of support network can I rely upon? Remember that if you can't hire people, then who can you hire on a per hour basis, on a temporary basis, to become part of your organization and to help you? So let me just show you, for example, who can I rely on? So Gale will even provide prompts, how to fill this in. And if you look at the prompts, look, spouse or partner, family members, friends, community groups, counselors or therapists, mentors. So what Gale is doing is giving you suggestions. Gale is going to help you to fill each part of the business plan. Because when you go for financing, when you go to a bank, when you go to a city, and they ask you, why do you want to open a business? The first thing they're going to ask you is for your business plan. So what Gale does is, by adding information, it's going to do a lot of the work for you. For example, what are my resources? So here you go, prompts. So what should I be thinking about? Cash? What are my assets? What properties do I have? Tools and equipment. What am I going to need in order to fulfill my business or to supply the demand? Labor. How many people do I need to work for me at what cost in order for me to meet demand and in order for me to have proper supply? And then you also have to calculate, what are my raw materials? If you're developing something or creating something, how much of the raw materials should I stock? Because remember, there's a carrying cost to supply. So people often say, well, supply is on the asset side of the balance sheet. Yes, but if supply is not moved quickly, supply can become a liability, because remember this, supply prices are changing all the time. So you have to order just on time supply. It's what I tell as an accountant. I tell my people, order just on time. Why? Prices fluctuate, especially in the economy we are today. So you don't want to end up, for example, buying a widget, and I buy excess widgets. So let's say they cost me $1 a widget, but I've got a warehouse now with thousands of widgets that I paid $1 a widget. Now, because you did not move the inventory, you did not move the raw material, you ordered excessive supply. 3 months down, widgets are now selling for 80 cents a widget. So you already know that you're at a 20-cent loss. So what I tell people, it is imperative that your supply side of the balance sheet is right on time. So you have to figure, how much do I need to move it within 30 days in order for me to first in, first out. So it comes in, it goes out as quickly as it comes in. This is what's going to help you stay viable in business. If you're like I could do it here.
Omar has 2 phones connected. You need to mute one. There you go.
There we go. I just muted it. Thank you. All right. So the Gale system is going to help you go through the process. How do I handle setbacks? Most businesses within the first 5 years fail. Why do they fail? They have no setback plan. It's important of having a growth mindset, being comfortable with uncertainty and vulnerability, having an objective view of setbacks. Look, a setback is not the end of the world. But if you have a setback, how do you recoup? See, this is what banks want to know. Like with COVID-19, we've had major setbacks. So everybody's adjusting. For example, for the chamber where I work, we've gone totally virtual. So now we're developing virtual programs, we're developing online programs. In other words, we had to shift. So a setback is not the end of the world as long as you have a viable plan in place. What happens is we got out to start our business. We're running, we're planning, making money, customers, people are gonna buy from us, we're gonna be successful, I'm gonna make a lot of money. And you never sit back to plan for a setback. What if scenarios? It's not to be negative, but when you have a business, you have to ask yourself, if I don't meet margin, if I don't meet budget, what are my resources? And then when you have a good month, how not to spend your money even in capital expenditures or adding expenses. Because a good month might carry a bad month, might carry you forward in a bad month. So it's imperative that you have a plan. So when you go to Gale, the Gale business plan, it's gonna help you develop all these ideas and it's gonna put it into your business plan. And the beauty of it is that you can always go back and readjust it. So if you're in Morris County, all you gotta do is go to your local library and get a library card, and you're gonna be able to access Gale for free because the Morris County Economic Development Corporation, in partnership with the Morris County Chamber of Commerce, we have partnered with the Morris County Library Services to bring to you this free service. You can also connect with SCORE. SCORE has a whole platform on how to develop your business plan, and it's retired executives that can help you develop a plan, or you can reach out to me at eramirez@morriscountyedc.org. The ideation, which I talked a little bit before, is super important because this is what you got to think. Mission budget, mission achievement, outreach, key resources. This is central to your success. If you notice a lot of companies, you ask them, what's your mission? They'll tell you something like, well, I need to make as much money as I can. That's not a mission. My mission is to provide quality service unlike anybody else in the computer programming area. How are you going to provide that outstanding service? We offer 24 hours support. We offer within 1 hour, if your computers go down, our technical staff will be at your location or remotely fix your computer. So what's gonna make you interesting? What's gonna make you successful? Because this is the key. We're dealing with companies like Amazon. We're dealing with companies like Dell. We're dealing with companies that have deep pockets. One of the things that we've discovered, especially in this season of COVID that has changed our market completely, is that the small business is having a hard time surviving. As a matter of fact, a lot of the small businesses are having to close down because they cannot sustain themselves through just eating out outside, not letting patrons in. Some businesses have called it and have said to me, Ed, I can't even afford the plexiglass. I just can't afford the plexiglass to put it up on every station. So what do? So now we have to get more creative. We have to save our money in the months that are good. And we always have to plan for these difficult times that we're going through right now. One of the things that I tell people is constantly plan. Plan for the worst. With COVID-19, we do not know if there's going to be a second wave. So the Gale business plan is going to become critical if you need to go back for the triple P plan. Maybe you're going to need more money because this has taken longer than what we expected. So you can use Gale, have your business plan in place because now the rules are changing again. As a matter of fact, the rules are going to change drastically in the next month or so. By January, they're expecting a major influx of unemployed people in the market. So how do we help you prepare? I want you to take advantage of this Gale business planning service, which is free. You can also connect with me at eramirez@morriscountyedc.org, and I will help you. Or you can connect with your local SCORE or your local SBA, because every bank to ask for a viable business plan that shows that you're ready, not only for the good, but to also operate during turbulent times. So we are here to help you. Again, how do you get to the Gale business plan? You go to www.morriscountyedc.org. When you get to the website, you go to resources. Under resources, you're going to get a tab that's called business resources. When you click on that tab, it's going to give you a little tab that says get started. Click on get started, and it's going to ask you for your library card. Your library card is free, and this is for Morris County residents. If you get a library card from, in my example, Rockaway, Florham Park, Butler, get your free library card. It will allow you to log in. When you log in, you are already at the Gale Business Planner. You answer the questions. It's that simple. Answer questions. It helps you to think. It helps you to answer those questions. It helps you to develop your plan. At the end, when you hit print, you're going to have a plan that's going to contain your executive summary. It's going to contain your company description, products and services, your marketing plan, including a SWOT analysis, your operational plan, and your management and organization, your startup expenses and capitalization, and your financial plan. One of the things that I tell you, be it with the EDC, be it with the local bank, don't ever go into a bank and when they ask you how much money do you need, please don't ever tell a financier whatever I qualify for, because that immediately will disqualify you. So it's very important that in your plan, you know exactly how much money you need and you can show where the money is going. I need $30,000 to cover payroll and marketing and stock, my supply. Okay, how much is payroll? Payroll is $10,000. How much is supply? Supply is $5,000. How much is operational cost? In other words, what the bank wants to see is that you know exactly where you're going to use your money. You cannot go in there expecting the bank to help you. You have to go in there with a plan, and then you need to sound sure of your plan. You need to assure them. In other words, when you first meet with the bank, you have to ease them where they feel, I have confidence in this business. They know what they're doing. They know where the money's going. They demonstrated where the money's going. I trust them. I will give them a loan. And that's what you want. And that's why we're presenting these Thursday noon seminars in order to better equip you. Starting next week, we're going to start now on EQ, emotional intelligence. I want you to really look out for this, because a lot of people start a business with great IQ, but they don't have the slightest idea of EQ. So you can have intelligence and you could be book smart and you might know how to operate your business more efficient than anybody else. But let me tell you something, my friend. If we don't know emotional intelligence as much as business intelligence, we may never succeed. Because in today's market, you need EQ, and you need to know how to help people and motivate people to move your business forward. So you need to learn the skills of effective EQ. And we're going to start discussing those next week at 12 noon for the Economic Development Corporation of Morris County. So right now, I know that there's a few of you logged on here. There's a few of you on Facebook. On Facebook, I cannot answer your questions right now, but if you want to, inbox me, and I will get back to you and give you a response if there's any questions that you may have. If you are online right now and you have any questions that you want us to field here on the air, then unmute yourself and share your question with us now, or you can put it in the chat and I will try to answer your questions in the next 5 minutes or so that we have left. So if you want to, you can unmute yourself, or you can just write it in the chat. Okay, there's no questions there. All right, let me look at my YouTube. Okay, Gale, I gave part 1 of Gale last week. This is part 2, but it's basically with the Gale was just to teach you how to use the Gale platform. It is a free resource. It is a resource that Morris County has partnered. Our president partnered with the Morris County Libraries to give, through the Economic Development Corporation, give this free service. So there's no charge for it. All you need is a library card. That's all you're gonna need. So thank you for tuning in. The Morris County Economic Development Corporation thanks you. Talk to you next week.